I'm Richard Lawson, Dean of St. John's Cathedral, and I'm joined by Illana Poley and Mike Baksa, two of our wonderful parishioners. Illana is a member of our vestry or of our board, grew up here at the Cathedral. Mm-hmm. Mike Baksa is a contractor and very active worshiping at the Cathedral and giving me advice, and we'll get into that in a moment. Mm-hmm. But where I want to start, Illana, is the name of this campaign is A Cathedral for All Generations. Tell us about this title.
I grew up in the Cathedral. I was baptized here. My father actually grew up in the Cathedral as well, so it really is a generational home for our family. My sister was married here. We baptized our youngest two children at the Cathedral. So I think the Cathedral coming together to take care of the building, not just for the generation that's here today, but for generations in the future, is really what it's all about.
Right. I think it's interesting that the Cathedral is built out of stone. Mm-hmm. And this limestone is a literal and spiritual promise that we're going to be here for generations.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to renovate the stained glass, as you know. Mm-hmm. One of our stained glass makers, his name was Connick, and he has a phrase that I remember where he says about stained glass, and the stained glass at St. John's in particular, that it's a playground for the afternoon sun.
Yeah, that totally resonates with me. I can remember times when I've been in the Cathedral when you see the sun come in from the west and you can just see the rays sort of shining down on the whole congregation. It's pretty magical.
Beauty plays a really important role, not just aesthetically enjoying it from a distance, but an important role spiritually.
For sure. I think that when I've come into the Cathedral with guests, and maybe Mike can even talk about this, it's people are awestruck when they walk through the doors. And I think that sensing that awe, sensing that wonder, can give people, even people who don't really feel like they have a home at the church, a sense of spirituality. And I think that opens up their hearts and their minds to what they might experience when they continue to come back.
I wonder if a part of that, we live in a world, thanks to technology and social media, that is just saturated with words right now. Mm-hmm. And being in a place with outward and visible nonverbal symbols of the faith, I wonder if that's a part of why beauty resonates so much right now. We can trust it sometimes even more than words.
Oh, I definitely think that's true. I think we see that with our kids. When we bring them into church, you know, they're inundated with screens, with movement, with distraction. And that's not to say they're not distracted when they're in the building, but that also, I think, creates a sense that this is a little bit different, that this place is somehow a little bit different, maybe a little bit more calm, a little more peaceful than so much of the world that they encounter when they're outside of the doors.
Mike, thinking about place, you are a contractor. You've spent a lot of time working with different trades and fields here in Denver. You've given me so much advice down through the years. Mike, you were instrumental in designing a $4.5 million HVAC project that we accomplished successfully, and you were a big reason why. Talk about, if you will, why it's so important to take care of places and the fabric of places and building and grounds such as these.
For St. John's Cathedral specifically, it's because it's a one-of-a-kind building. Everything from the way the architecture lays out, you lose yourself in the structure itself, the beauty, kind of the intricacies of it, and so it's one of a kind for, you know, the church. It's one of a kind for the neighborhood, and then it's one of a kind for us. Me personally, I mean, I have a appreciation for architecture, engineering, buildings. It's half the reason why I like coming to church. The other half is, you know, God and you, but like I like coming to church.
Cathedrals the world over, and particularly in the Church of England, have a wonderful history of relationships with different trades, artisans, engineers, contractors, architects. And you have led us to a wonderful team of professionals that we've been working with now for several years who do a great job. Talk about trust in the engineers and contractors that we have.
Yeah, so I'd love to talk about that. Number one, St. John's is local to here in Denver, obviously. And so to trust somebody with that sort of, I guess, congregation, you have to have somebody that's here local. So tribal architects, trust them implicitly. Friends and Pittman, the contractor that did the work, trust them implicitly. But the point being, and Paul Miles, the owner's representative, trust him implicitly because they live here. You know, they're not out of sight, they're not out of mind. They have a vested interest in making sure that we have a place to worship that's important. And then, quite honestly, the talent level of all those entities to take care of this place that's really special to everybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Illana, I would love to hear you give some encouragement for people to give financially as they're able. And as you know, we have people from a wide range of financial backgrounds and abilities, but every gift matters.
For sure. I think when I came to Mike and said the capital campaign is something that's important, and they're asking for people to give, whether you're on the vestry like I am or whatever your place is within St. John's, I think that his first thing that he said was, well, we already make a pledge. And that's true. And that for us is really important to pledge and to make that commitment every year to the church. And for us, we're in a place in our lives where we have a lot of competing interests for our financial resources, right? We have our daughter's, going into high school. She's going to be in college before we know it. But it's also really important that we do what we can to contribute to the capital campaign because we want this place to be around for another generation or 2 or 3. We want to know that we are continuing to take care of a cathedral where maybe our grandchildren will be baptized. Who knows? So the piece that we can do, even if that feels small right now, it's us making a contribution and saying, yes, this is something that's important and this is something we believe in, and we're going to do what we can now, and hopefully, down the road we'll be able to do even more.
I can't thank you both enough, and above all, what I want to thank you for is the leadership for years that you've given to the cathedral that has helped us to make it to this point. Leadership on vestry, our board, and leadership as a contractor that has led us to this wonderful team of professionals. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.